I'm going to do a video on me changing my wheel bearings on both my front and back wheel. But before I get out in the garage and start on that, I just wanted to run through my experience of trying to buy front and rear wheel bearings and seals for the Kawasaki S1C model, because I couldn't get them anywhere. I did find a place doing wheel bearings and they said they were for the S1. And when I said to them, the S1C, can you tell me what the bearing part numbers are? The part numbers they gave me were 6203. Now, a 6203 bearing is for the KH250B1. Remember that, 6203. What the S1C takes is a 6302. So not a 6203, a 6302 on the right-hand side of the hub at the front. And on the near side, the left-hand side, it takes a 6302Z bearing. Now, they offered me two 6203 bearings, which were completely the wrong bearings. So what I've managed to do is I went online, and after some great painful experience, I managed to sort a 6302 and a 6302Z. Now, I've got an NSK and a FAG bearings. But they're good. That's the right bearings for the model. Now, the oil seals, or the hub seals as they're known, the left-hand one is a WOC 556807. And what you do when you look for that is you type in 55 times 68 times 07. And you'll find that a lot of the seals that are out there are 7/8. So it's the thickness, so you can have an 8mm seal. The 7s are not readily available, but the 8s are. So I've got a 55/68/8, and that's for the right hand side on the front wheel. And then I've got myself a, if I can just get the thing here, a 25/42/8 with the little spring thing. Oh no, it's not in the back. Yes, it is. You can see it just down there glinting. And that's the front hub. And that one, just checking my notes, hang on, I'm reading as we go. That one is the right hand side hub. So left hand side hub, right hand side of hub. So moving on to the rear bearings. Again, I had the same problem. I couldn't find what I was looking for, so I had to go online. And what you have at the back is you have two 6205 bearings. One is your coupling bearing and one is your left hub bearing, so left hand side of the rear wheel, coupling bearing, and then hub right hand side of the rear wheel is another 6205, but it's a Z, so you've got two 6205s and a 6205Z, and then you've got one oil seal, which is the coupling oil seal, which is a WTC 355207, and that's a 35/52/7, and this one I could actually get the 7mm thick. That is the exact seal that's stated in the manual. Now, I'll say I shopped all over for these, and I've brought this sort of piecemeal. I'll put photos of each of the bearings when I open them up in a little bit, and I'll also put photos and prices and the companies that I've brought all these bits from. I'm not affiliated to them, I just went out and got me bits. So I managed to get all of the bearings that we need. Now the crunch thing is now, will they fit in the hub? Have I got the right stuff? So once we get them all in and everything fits and we all know it's good, I'll put up all the prices, pictures of all the bearings, pictures of all the seals, front and back, so that you can go and buy them if you need to do your S1C. Now these bearings also cover a multitude of other models of motorbikes as well in the S1 range. So the rear bearing set, that covers the S1, the S1A, the S1B, the S1C, the S2, the S2A, the S3 and the S3A. That's all the rear bearings. The front bearings set that I've got here covers the S1, the S1A and the S1B. and the S1C, which is what I've got, the KH250A5 and the the S2. Let me do that again. It covers the S1, the S1A, the S1B, the S1C, which I've got, KH250A5, and the S2 and S2A, and that's this top set of bearings and seals at the top. I'll put up some photos as well showing you which bearing goes where, and I'll try and give you as much info as I can. So right, it's off to the garage now. Let's get these fitted. So the plan this morning, 6 o'clock start again, is to replace the wheel bearings here. So let me get gloves on so I don't get plastered. And the first thing I think I need to do is get this spacer out, which is in here. Right, so that's out. Then I've got this oil seal here that needs to come out. I need a flat bladed screwdriver for that. These normally just prise out, he says. God, that's in there. Or is that the bearing? Oh no, that's the... No, that is the oil seal. Right, hang on, I'm going to have a look at this. So using a screwdriver and just going around gently prising up, managed to get the seal out. And that one will be replaced with that one, which looks the same. So there's the old one and there's the new one. So that looks good. Right. Now, is there a circlip in here? The answer is no. And there's the bearing right down there. So the next thing we've got to do is I've got to flip the wheel over, and then we've got to hammer from the other side down onto this, pop out that wheel bearing. I've also got to work out how all this here comes off, because the other oil seal I believe is under here, but I don't know how you get that speedo drive off. I need to clean this up and have a look. Down in between here, between this wheel bearing and the wheel bearing on the other side, there's a length of tube, and the tube is just floating about and the spindle pushes through it. What you've got to do is you've got to put a screwdriver down there to the bottom, and then you move the tube to one side, and what it does is it allows part of the rim of the bearing at the bottom to be exposed, and then you can put your bearing drift on, hit down that side, put your screwdriver in and move it over the other side and that side, and you've got to go sided like this and try and drive the bearing out straight. I've just tried putting a torch down there to film it, but I can't get enough light down there to get it, so I'll have to just run with my... so let me get my bearing drift and we'll hammer down there and knock this bearing out. Well, unbeknownst to you, I've just spent about the last hour, last half an hour looking for this, my bearing drift. You need one of these, and it needs to have a lovely flat end on the end of it to be able to beat the bearing out. And then we just give it 1, 2 on there, go to the other side, 1, 2, go to the other side, the other side. Right, I'll give it a couple more. All I'm doing each time I'm doing it is I'm pressing that little ring over to the side to allow the bearing to move. Going round 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Let's see if she's moved. Yeah, you can see the bearing's got a bit closer to the top there. So it's not quite level yet, but at least it's moving. And I've got the wheel supported via the rim on a couple of pieces of wood, so that I've spread out the evenness of the weight that I'm hitting with the hammer. You can see now the bearing is practically level with the top, so we're almost out, so it's coming out nicely. And get yourself one of these bearing things. Don't try and do it without this. Otherwise you are going to knacker your wheel bearing. Bearings out. There we go. One removed wheel bearing. Now, you can see the spacers come out. Now on my one, it's come out with the extra bit here on the edge. That actually goes to the speedometer drive side. So when I put it back in, I can't put it in that way up. I've got to put it in that way up. But that's quite nice and tidy. Now, the other day, I brought one of these. And that's completely the wrong size. So that answers that. So anyway, right, we'll make a note of that. Give that a bit of a clean actually, because that is covered in grease. We'll have a quick inspection of the wheel bearing and see what it actually looks like. Very well packed with grease. There's grease everywhere at the moment. All over the wood. Right, let's get some of this off. I was pretty sure when I felt this that the bearing felt okay, to be honest. The way to do it is put your finger in. Yeah, that wheel bearing's okay. But as I say, I'm not taking any chances. So that's definitely being replaced. Doesn't look sided at all. And by sided I mean, does it have to go in a special way round? But there's markings that side. And no markings that side. So it's come out with the writing round this edge facing down. So when we put it back in, it'll go in that way with the writing facing out. So you can see that on the bearing. Right, one down, one to go. Right, I cannot recall or find how that bearing comes out. I've done the bearings in here before, but it was like 20 odd years ago. And yeah, I'm having a senior moment. So we are going to drive this bearing out. Right, has it moved? Yes, it has. Look, it's nice and level now. So we will continue around. So I'll just talk you what I'm doing. So 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, out it comes. Right, let's have a look at this one. Now, that's the way it's come out again. Again, sided. Right, it's still right in to the outside. Now, how's this one feel? Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Perfectly good wheel bearing. You could tell that by when I was spinning it on the balancing stand. I thought they were okay, so I wasn't wrong there, was I? But it's a perfect opportunity to do. I'm putting all the stuff in a bag just to keep them so they're good. So I'm still perplexed because I seem to have an additional seal, but I can't for the life of me find out where this big seal goes. It can't go over the top of the speedometer drive. It looks to me like it recesses in here, but I didn't have one in here. So I was clearly missing an oil seal. Yeah, I didn't take anything out of there. So the big question is, where has that gone? So anyway, I've got to clean up all inside here with a bit of WD-40, wipe it all out with a rag, get it nice. Then the bearings have got to go in the fridge for a couple of hours. We're going to get a little blow lamp and heat this up carefully round here just to expand that. And obviously the fridge will contract the bearings, then we should be able to drive them in. If you look at the oil seal that came out, you can see all these chewed up marks around here. It looks like someone's been eating or gnawing on it. So it wasn't knackered, but it was just a bit marked on the outside. So I'm glad we changed that. Just means that the front wheels are done, everything's good, and we fully inspected that front wheel. So we can put a tick in that box when this is done and just move on. New tyre, tube, rebalance, cleaned up, all the hubs checked, new brakes, the works.